to be willing to attending this class again, because the previous first class you already attending the topic strategies of community development, right? And then like Burisna said, we have two sections. You will presentation first. The theme is social policy and community development, learning from Taiwan, and then continue by a discussion from the question of all participants in this class. We have 2 hours, like Ms. Risna said. Okay, Miss Sisi, are you ready? Okay, time and place is yours, Miss Yi.
Yeah, thank you. Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you again. Just in case you were not in the last time talk 2 weeks ago, I'll just briefly introduce a little bit about myself. I'm a associate professor in social work department in National Taiwan University. And I got my doctoral degree in the US. And your faculty member, Professor Titi Binahayati, she was one of my senior peer. So that's why I've been visited your university and in Indonesia to talk about social work education and what we are doing in Taiwan. I found a lot of inspiring exchange idea when I visited your university. And since today, I'm going to talk more about Taiwan and also introduce some of my case studies. So I would like to just bring in some basic information for you to realize the differences between Indonesia and Taiwan. As you can see in the slides, Taiwan is considered a developed country in the 30 years. So the average GDP, the income level is much higher than the average in Indonesia. And also the education level, people are required to take 12 years of education. Now the universities, the higher education is very available to anyone who is willing to to have a graduate degree from the university. Therefore, the general education level is considered quite good. I think it's even better than in the US because of the culture. We appreciate the education a lot. And as you can see, Taiwan is a very small island. And we, our size of population, if we divide by the landscape size, it's much dense in Taiwan compared to what is in Indonesia, where a lot of islands, big or small, and a lot of ethnicity groups and cities and towns form together as a country. So I think if we talk about community practice, it will be more complex in Indonesia. And today we are going to talk about policy. Therefore, I think it's very important for us to keep in mind that the democracy development is not the same in the two places. In Taiwan, we already had 8 rounds of presidential election, and if you count the years, how many years we've been in the democratic stage, it seems very similar. However, when I visited in Bandung and Indonesia, I found the local election there was very vivid, and like for 2 seats, maybe more than a dozen people would run the election. However, the situation in Taiwan is like people are more used to the big parties who win the election. Therefore, very few people will run for the election just because of their belief there will be a change, or their belief they would make the social change. Therefore, the political parties, the two major ones, own the most seats, and both in the local and the national level. So I think that makes a difference when we talk about social policy and community practice. We will talk more about that. And also in Taiwan, community practice is part of social work, education, and practice. However, I would say, to be frank, community practice is not the dominant approach for the social work students and also for the social workers in practice. I think it's because of the history of social work was very much adopted from the international aids and also the United States and British education system. Therefore, most of the social work students in Taiwan, they want to be a professional social worker. That means good pay, and like sitting in office, or high respect from the service users, the clients, and the public. Therefore, in community practice, usually the funding is not that much, and the system is less formalized. Very few social workers stay in the community practice and claim them are community social workers. So next week, we'll talk more about how social work combined with community work together in service provision. But now, today we will talk about how we try to improve the environment and the struggles of the practice. Therefore, we will touch more issues in social work education, and also about the curriculum of social work, that we can, how we can promote this community practice to be aligned with the policy and aligned with the people's needs. So this is just some of the background I would like you to keep in mind, and I will bring this back when the following discussion. So overall, I will talk about community practice roots, some of the traditions, and what is left in the Taiwan community development practice. And with the discussion with Rudy earlier, he suggests that maybe we can talk about this top-down and also bottom-up. So the overall view of community practice will be more understandable. Therefore, I will talk about the history, traditions, and then the policy benchmarks, which you can consider as a top-down or in the timeline, form the basic stage of community practice. And then I'll talk more about the recent efforts bottom up that many grassroots organizations and local community groups, how they bring out their community work together, which can be a little bit different from the idea in policy. And in the last will be my introduction about some divergent issues, and also what social work and other disciplines are trying to solve. So these continuing tests to improve community development will be put in the last for us to think about it. And I encourage you to think about what you are facing in this in your society and in your community. I also provide some references for you to get more idea and information about my talk. So first, I would like to talk about some traditions and heritages in Taiwan community development. It's also a brief summary of what I've talked last week. I hope you don't mind. And so last week, we talked about community development is a profession of variety. So the definition can be a little bit tricky. So I will introduce you the definition from IACD, the International Association of Community Development. They try to build shared standards of CD. So as you can see in the slides, the definition includes the shared values and goals of our work, such as democracy, participation, sustainability, and also some of the methods that we oftentimes shared and use in the practice, such as education, empowerment, and organizing people as a group and an association. And also the settings can be very different, including urban and rural area. And also the recent definition of community moved from locality-based to identity-based. So people share the same interests or identity, such as ethnicity or sexual orientation, can be a base for them to form a community and to be active in the physical and virtual world. So within the definition, the very broad definition, you see people use different terms interchangeably. And I will just say community practice or community work or CD as interchangeable. No difference in my talk. However, there are traditions from the European world and from the American world. For example, community organization is more about democracy and participation, which is developed in the well-developed in the United States. And however, in the UK, the British tradition is more about charity and how we help the people in needs. And also the system kind of integrated into the government social welfare. And in Taiwan, and I believe in Indonesia too, we accept a lot of ideas and systems from the international aid organizations, such as UN, World Bank, and some international nonprofit organizations, such as World View. In Taiwan, we call it 市展会. So this kind of international activities bring in the idea of community development and with the emphasis in the economic needs and also education, public health. So with if we think about such diversity and put into Taiwan, I would say in Taiwan, we accept the traditions from the UN and international organizations to think community development is about people's capacity, how to empower them to be independent and also self-reliant. And the social work education, we adopt a lot of ideas and values from the United States of America and UK, the England area. Therefore, such systems in social welfare and also in social work education are integrated into our community practice. And I would say recently, in the recent 3 decades, Taiwan government, they like the ideas in Japan very much. Therefore, a lot of exchange visits and research kind of draw the idea of their social policy on regional development, or we say locality development, with the level of a town or a city into the community practice in Taiwan. We call it community empowerment movement, which is a big one in Taiwan if we talk about the policy. So I would say if overall the top-down approach, the policy, and the like a formal education system, I highlight here in the blue color, we adopt the idea of community development from UN and the community care from UK, community services, which emphasize the volunteer and voluntary resources from China, and also the regional development from Japan. And later, I'll talk more about the bottom-up approach, how will people organize together and stay the solidarity for their own good. This approach will be done or kind of carried out by grassroots without not much policy resources and support. And this approach is, you can call it from the roots or the sources will be from the United States, the community organization tradition, and from the Japan community empowerment approach. So both top-down and bottom-up, there are some international forces together in Taiwan. So if you are familiar with the social, the community practice models of Rothman, he introduced the idea in the 1980s and divide social community practice into 3 prototypes, three ideal types. One approach is social planning. It's most top-down approach. In this approach, community worker is more act more like a rational planner or some scientific researchers. As an experts, they lead the community to change. And from the bottom up will be the model of social action. Rothman considered a lot of local level social movements as part of the community practice. The advocacy work usually happens when some oppression or power disparity exists, that the community residents suffers from lacking power, lacking resources, and then the community worker would organize everyone together to shout out. So this approach nowadays becomes more like an interest group advocacy, or more about how to building coalition to go against the rich guys, rich companies, or the government, unreasonable government leaders. And so between the top down and the bottom up, there's approach more about empowerment. Rothman called it as locality development, but nowadays people would consider it as more about organization, or consider it more about empowerment. So I would say it's an in-between approach that in the community practice. We'll see this a lot in Taiwan's practice nowadays. I think because after many years of efforts, the government or the experts are not only one who knows best about how to do the work. And after so many years, many of the conflicts or oppression is solved through the legal process or policy process. Therefore, what can people do and what community can play a role in people's life will be more about empowerment and how to make the life to get better together. So if you read the references I offered, that I work with some scholars, and they are not necessary. Some of them are practitioners. So we talked about how community development is different across Hong Kong, Singapore, Taiwan, and China. And there are some emergencies and divergences. So we think that in these areas or in these societies, both top-down and bottom-up approaches exist, and maybe with different focus or different proportion. However, in between, there are some emergent issues that we all have to pay attention. First is that community practice is not just about social work, and there are many other disciplines and professions are involved in this area, in this field, such as urban planning. And in some places, the psychologists, they care a lot about community work too. And second, we think it's very important that community development is never out of fashion. We still need it very much at the policy level and also at the practice level, because the community intervention can be very innovative, because we know a lot about people's life and real situations. Therefore, the intervention is not about like giving money or giving resources. It's just temporary cure. You may not be hungry, but you never grow and become independent. That's not the result social policy would like to see. However, at the policy level or at the professional level, maybe that's just that's the only thing they can do in general. So community practice is very individualized at this area and for these families and people. Therefore, a lot of innovation, or we say new methods, are kind of invented from the grassroots. Issues, social issues like poverty or the recent pandemic, we found it community practice is very strong and powerful. And second is that the learning about how to do social community development is not just about the local. We rely on international exchange a lot. So the learning, including the policy and the practitioners, both approach, we learn a lot from other countries and societies. So this kind of exchange learning is very important. I think that's one of the reasons I would like to join this international talk, so that I can learn from you too. So I think I talked a lot about my understanding of the traditions and the policy approach development in Taiwan. Would you like to talk a little bit about yourself, or I can continue and we can come back to the discussion later? Rudy, you think I can go further? or we can pause here for some feedbacks and discussion.
Okay, maybe we can give the opportunity to the audience, maybe something to ask or something to opinion for you. Mungkin
Okay.
Uti bisa ditawarkan dulu, Uti.
So
Okay.
anyone?
We have come into next session. We have a question from all participants here. Any other question or comment? Or maybe you can write down in the column chat.
Okay.
Okay.
No.
Maybe you can continue
Okay.
for the next.
No problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's good to stop for a few minutes here for you to think about Indonesia or the province, the area that you care about, because both bottom up and some history, both top down and some histories can be the forces behind what is in place in the community. And I think in Taiwan, the social policy of community development is not something like it's born from nowhere. It's actually those traditions that are introduced, embedded in the policy making process, and also in the policymakers' thoughts. So if we look at the history, the policy development in Taiwan, I would again using the models of Rothman for you to have a general idea. The policies goes from social planning to locality development, more empowerment approach. And recent years, the social action approach, the social action models are also visible in the practice. So I think we can look at the start from the social planning, because in the beginning, the government would like to lead the communities and the people to care more about their own life and do more for themselves instead of everything rely on the government. So they kind of borrowed the idea from the international aids, try to organize the local people into committees as a assistant system to the local leaders, so that some of the important issues they would have consultation from the local committee. So in the early stage, it was these committee members were not elected, so it's just recommended by the people who are acknowledgeable, who are resourceful, and who are passionate about the local business. They will form such committee. And then the government move forward to encourage those kind of committee become a formal association. We say CDA, Community Development Associations. The policy encourage each town to have their own CDA. And such CDA would have to form a board to do the self-regulation and regular meetings. And their funding, they have to apply from the government or try to encourage their members to donate. So it becomes a non-profit, non-government organization, which is quite common in Taiwan. Each town has one or more CDAs to manage their own local business, local welfare. So if we think about the three models that I introduced and also in place in Taiwan, you can think about how the three approaches would do things differently. First, on the left-hand side, we see the community, the social planning approach, the government and the professionals as the leader. We can see that in current Taiwan communities still see that happening. For example, the local doctors, social workers, and on the left, the picture you see some charity groups. This is Tzu Ji, a Buddhist organization in Taiwan. They have many international branches, including in Indonesia. So these people, they usually have more good knowledge and good social status and good money. So they do it for good. And people trust them because they are out of nonprofit purposes. And in the middle, the CDA, the local organizations, they may do some wellness activities or do some, this is a community market activities, fun activities for people to gather together and to stay healthy and strong and happy, so that the well-being of the community can be kept good. However, when certain circumstances happens, people feel unjust and oppressed, the social action models may come in as a rescue. So you see the left-hand side, the picture is Aboriginal tribe. They, the community came together and fight against a company who kind of steal the land from their traditional territory. And many people are forced to move out and couldn't find their land and their traditional culture back. So this approaches, all of them are existing together in Taiwan. However, I would say if you see the article I wrote with Professor Gu, using the models of Rothman to kind of see the history of community practice policy of Taiwan. Before the 90s, the rural construction is more about social planning. We learn from the international aids to improve people's life by rational planning, big projects, public health, education, construction, things like that. But in the 90s, 1983, a law was initiated to encourage the local people form their own CDA, their own association. Therefore, those associations can provide services like in the photo we see wellness activities for the elderly or some after-school care for the children, things like this, or the community care more about economic development. They will try to boost their local business by some marketing activities. So it is very popular in the 80s and 90s. And then the policy of community empowerment movement kind of changed the idea. The government provide a lot of fundings for the CDAs and other format of organizations to do more in not just in social welfare, but also maybe in culture revitalization and business industry and even environment protection. So any area you can apply some apply for government funding. And this kind of encourage the CDA go to a diverging different direction, follow their needs and follow the resources to have their own goals and mission. And some go with the government, with the policy, but some communities or some organizations, they kind of do their own ways. So the social action approach was carried out by a few groups. So I would say until now, the community organization, they kind of go, the majority of them go into two approaches. One is following the community empowerment movement, the policy. They try to do some cultural revitalization or any ways to improve the local well-being. And the other approach is under social work professions idea and authority to provide more social services by the local level. However, this approach, the social welfare decentralization policy, the budget scale is much smaller, and also the accountability is quite strict. Therefore, fewer CDAs and fewer community organizations are going with the social work approach to focus on social services. And you can imagine that community organizations are formed with voluntary members. So these people would prefer to go with their will and needs instead of just following the social work profession idea and the policy incentives. So these two mainstreams are visible in Taiwan. And we see, I would say, there's no formal statistics, but within the academic and policy discussion, we see that the top-down social services approach are kind of taken over by smaller professional groups or some branches of national nonprofits. And also some faith-based organizations such as churches and their related organizations. They would be able to provide more services with little government funding because they have their own funding stream or fundraising capacity. The CDAs and smaller community organizations, they are really relying on the government funding. So they, most of them, the majority of the CDAs follow the community empowerment approach to try to kind of apply their own expertise and go for the best funding stream to be sustainable economically, financially. So overall, you can see the history of community development and also the policy and the government funding are some crucial factors working in the practice, leading the people and the communities, the organizations to choose their path or choose their approaches to carry out their mission. However, in between, not just top down, I would say there are also bottom up approaches visible. I will introduce you two cases. One is in the rural area, one is in the urban area. Maybe you can identify some of the differences and also find one case that is more relevant to you, makes sense to you. The first case is in the rural area. On the map of Taiwan, you see Yuanli. Yuanli is a town of Miaoli County, and it's located in the west side of Taiwan by the coast, and most of the county, most of the area are hill lands, so it's not good. It's not very profitable, and agricultural profit is very limited. However, Yuanli is considered the only good land in this county that can grow rice, which is profitable in agriculture. And also there's a train, highway, and past this town, so that it becomes a middle stop for the traffic between Taipei, the biggest city, and Taichung, the third big city in west side of Taiwan. So Yuanli actually is not the worst or the most rural town in Taiwan. However, if you look at the area and the density, you can see the density of population. It's very low compared to the bigger cities like Taipei or Taichung. So I'll choose Yuanli because there are a few community organizations very famous in community practice. One of the recent reason is that in 2012, there is a big protest against offshore wind power stations built in that area. Do you have such facilities in Indonesia? The offshore wind power station generators. Do you? Not much?
I think there is no offshore wind power in Indonesia.
Oh, okay. So there is a few, not many. But in Taiwan, because the policy encouraged green energy, so it is considered more environmental friendly and no waste in generating electricity. So the government subsidized the companies try to build more facilities like this by the seashore or off seashore. And Yuanli was one of the earliest town. The company started such kind of industry. Would you like such giant wings built by your house? Would you? Some people are very happy because they become the supporter of green energy, or they will share some profits. The company will pay you for some of the as a compensation of occupying your land. So some people are happy, but most residents in Yuanli were not happy because the wind is so giant, so that when it generates electricity, you can see the boom, 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 the sound, and some wind pressure just by your living area. And although it's legal, it's like such building has to be apart from houses in certain distance. It's legal, but you still don't feel comfortable. Maybe your neighbor agreed to sell his land for the construction, but you didn't. But you have to suffer the wind pressure and a lot of psychological health stress. So some of the residents, they come together and kind of did the protest and call the attention from the mass media, saying they didn't agree and please get away from my hometown and please keep the legal requirements in place. We have a life here. It's not about the green energy, or it's not about the profit of the town. So in the right-hand side, you see the picture of the protest. The scale is very small because it's a small town and the people affected are not that many. And so not many residents came in the protest. So in the front line, you see a group of people. They kind of bound them together. These young people are actually, many of them are not local residents. They are college students and social movement supporters. So they care about this protest and came in the place and kind of did a lot of hard work with the residents. So some of them claim themselves as community worker or practitioners, taking the social action approach. That action was not totally success, but at least kind of prevented the construction kind of growing bigger. So, and then continually, so after that protest, many residents and also the young students, they form many organizations going for election or going for environment protection, going for health issues. So they kind of separated. However, in 2018, another event brought them together again. It's in the center of the town. A very historical traditional market was in fire, and buildings are kind of were burned out totally. So the town government decided to tear down everything and build a bigger one, a new one. Would you like the idea? Maybe many people think it's a good idea. We will have a brand new and big market building. But the local young people and many of the vendors and families, they feel very frustrated because during the reconstruction period, there will be a few years they don't have places to do their business, making money. That's first thing. And the second is that it's like the old days, the good old days would vanish and people didn't treasure that anymore. So a lot of activities formed. One of the students, she is a local, and she was involved in the social action against offshore energy generator. And she and other friends, local friends, they did protest. But this time, fewer people have kind of pay attention to, because market is nothing like a national thing, nothing like green energy, that scale. So this group of young people, they decided, okay, maybe this time we don't use the social action approach, because the conflict it's nothing. in the mass media. So maybe there are some other ways. They try to do more empowerment approach, hosting annual festival activities. Sounds fun, right? So in this festival, they didn't invite rock stars or like super singers to be on the stage. Instead, they invite the market vendors to sing a song together and also talk about their own stories. So through this way, many local families, they came here for fun and they heard the story and feel touched. So some of their good old day memory was awakened. And also many people came here for fun from other area of Taiwan and many other disciplines, professions. They found, oh, there are a group of people telling touching stories, and maybe we can do something too. So that's the Ocean Breeze Festival kind of brought in a breeze to the town to look at what they should treasure in the history and what they want for the future. So as a continuing step, these young people, they open up a bookstore. So the bookstore sells books, of course, but the profit is, of course, not enough to sustain the cost. Instead, they use the bookstore as a stage for people to talk about their ideas and also host activities, invite famous people all over Taiwan to support their thoughts and ideas. And also because many of them are young, still young, and just graduated from university, they found education is something that residents care a lot about. And they also would like to, so they use it as a issue for residents to feel this is a good place, this is a group of good people. So one of the protesters, he is old, as a farmer, he donate his produce. How you say that? This is taro. Yeah, taro or taro.
Oh, that.
Yeah, I believe you have this too, right?
Yeah.
So this farmer, he donated half of his products and sell it for the donation and support this bookstore and support the scholarship. So this bookstore turns into a more like a education cram school, or like young students gather here to talk about their career development and what they think about the hometown and their future, things like that. So it become a salon, like a place. And in 2022, after 10 years of the protests, the young lady you see in the protest picture, she ran for the town mayor. She ran the election. That was an adventure, I would say. People in community practice in Taiwan, we all pay attention to, and we all feel concerned. It's very costly, and it's not likely that she will win. However, she won the election with a little bit differences to the competitors, but she became the town mayor. So a community practitioner without any political party supports became the town mayor. That's a very encouraging news for everyone, for the town and for the community practice. So within the 2 years, we noticed that Liu Liu Yuyu, this young woman, she tries to carry out her ideal about community development into his policy in administration. On the left-hand side is the traditional market rebuilding hearing meetings. It's continuing be a struggle because people have different ideas for profit making and like a marketplace. So as I know, within the 2 years, the progress is very limited and couldn't get a agreement, general agreement. On the right-hand side, noticeably that a lot of activities happened for the families, children, and like old people who didn't have the chance to participate in the policy and to care about community. Now, the young woman Liu Yuyu let it happen. There are a lot of activities, forums for every citizen to have a voice. That's something very encouraging. So I would say within the rural case of Yuanli, you can see that there is no single models at the same time. Always at least two. When they do the protest behind the scene, there will be something about empowerment to do. And after the protest, the policy, the empowerment approach is important. However, the effort to make into policy level, including running election, is also an option for community practice. So it's pretty much depending on the community status and the team capacity. And we see in the case, the actors can be local or outside people, and can be experts, can be local residents, like the old farmer who donate his products. All of them are very crucial and draws different supporters from everywhere. And I would say in the case, we see that the community residents has many roles, and it will change over time through different stages. So did the community workers. Sometimes they are experts, but sometimes they are just residents, one of the residents. Most of the time, they work in between as the organizer to educate and awaken more people to support them. So I would say some oppressive or tragic events like the fire sometimes can be critical in a positive way for the residents and members to organize together. And also it's very important to gain public support so that such public supports and attention can be used as a leverage. Community work is political, absolutely. And in this case, we see that this small group of people, young people, they use politics as a leverage and successfully became the elected leader and try to carry out more of their ideals into the reality of the town. I see Risna raised her hand.
Okay, thank you, Yi. It's very clear presentation and also clear in example. On last week, I talked about 3 approaches from Jack Rothman to the magister students, and then my question is about: is it possible to mix 2 approaches? Because in Indonesia, sometimes and oftentimes the community have no initiative to change their quality of life. So oftenly the initiative come from government, for example, to enhance the quality of education or health, and then they do social planning first, I think, and then locality development follows, because the initiative come from the governments. Is it? Maybe I need your opinion about that.
Yes, I would say in the early days, that's the situation in Taiwan too. And people didn't believe they have the power and the capacity to make any change. So in the beginning, as I say, in the policy development, early stage, many organizations only rely on government funding. But they found that it's impossible to move from social planning to locality development, the empowerment approach. Why? Because most of the people are used to be service users. They wait there to be served. So they expect their need would be responded by the government. So the government would fund the experts sent to the local, and the local people can be responded. So they just wait. And this way can be very similar to say to the phenomenon we say welfare dependency. So the service users or the people in need, once they get used to be perceived as in need, then they don't feel they can change their own life. So after years of the funding of government, they lost the motivation to think about what they really care about. And would they be happy? I don't think so, because they will feel unsatisfied, because the experts diagnose their needs, their problems, and they use the government funding to help to change the status. But through this process, the service user continuing sense that I'm useless, I have problem, I'm incapable. After years, they just lost the motivation. So would they, when they fed, they were no longer hungry. They have a basic housing place. Would they just turn into like active citizens? Probably not. If they do, they fight for their own benefits, not the common good. So I think some of the, when I talked about these cases, I think it's a good thing that people in the community and many organizations, they started to kind of find out their own way, do activities without government funding. The Ocean Breeze Festival here, or the bookstore here, no government funding at all.
So we can call it locality development, like, right? Or
yeah, I would say more a locality development. Okay. So and also I would think for your first question is that possible to combine? Yes, it's possible to combine if the organization have some division of work here. For example, you see Yu Yu here. She is better at politics or mass media talk, things, communication like that. But here, and she is a local. So local people regard, okay, you are a local girl, we should support you. So politically, she is a good candidate. But this other group, 2 of them are local, 2 are totally Taipei girls, Taipei city girls. They are good at like writing or hosting activities and connecting friends or other organizations around Taiwan. So some people would do the networking and do something more locality development approach, empowerment approach. Some would work on the political side and keep on the protest. But if you think there's no such scholarship or no such bookstore, the protesters, how would they keep in this group? It's like old, young, farmer, like students, so they will not work together. So in between, some of the activities or projects like scholarship can combine these people together. And I think it's very empowering because in the protests and social movements, people get hurt, right? So psychologically, and the result is usually not perfectly good. So with such frustration, people will just turn around and become a betrayer or just hate this place and left forever. But the farmer, he find his way to be a supporter to the young people and also keep the community, the town going. So it's much better than feel himself oppressed and under power. But now he is a contributor and a supporter of the scholarship. So I met him once, very proud man. I think it's the opportunity you can create from locality development, from nothing, actually nothing.
Okay. And then Yiyi, I also curious about your previous slides about community organization that you say that there is a lot of local organization to do some like community services. And then in Taiwan, is it a local organization? Is formal organization or not? Formal organization. This one, I think, association.
What I list here are formal associations, except the grassroots. Yeah. So in Taiwan, the formal association can be based on money. So we call it like a foundation, a grant foundation, and or based on people, the members. So it's a members association. And most of the community practice actors, they are members association. So the CDA is something each town has at least one as a formal association. As a formal association, they can apply for government money. And also if they disobey the law or their agreement, then there's a way to correct it. So why would you be curious about the association's format?
Because in Indonesia, it's rare to find the organization not built or formed by a community itself. So sometimes the community or the groups is formed from government initiative. We have Ibu Nurliana, raise hand.
Thank you. Yes, if I may have the opportunity. Thank you. Good morning, Prof. Yi. Thank you for the fine presentation. I would like to ask you about the association that relate with Burisna's questions. I also know that in Philippines they have community development worker associations. And how would you differentiate between a social worker who use community development as a method and community development workers who, everyone claim that they are doing community development. So can you explain how would you think to differentiate between those two? Thank you.
Okay, it's a tough question actually. I was planning to talk about this a little bit more next talk, because I will talk about community-based service in Taiwan. I think the differentiation exists. If you are a social worker, do the community practice, or if you are not, you are from urban planning, you do the community practice. I think the methods will be very different, because social workers are really good at people. We learn and practice a lot about interpersonal interaction, things like that. So I think that's the way train us very good in the communication that required in the community practice. However, I would say we are not really good at like arts or space making, or some of the cultural activities, traditional dancing, or like religious activities. We are not experts, right? But that's something that link the community members together, so that I would not say social work is the only or the best actors in the field of community practice, but we are one of it. And if we work together with other professions, that would be much better for the community. Yeah, and I say it's a tough question, because in Taiwan, the social work development, the social work professionalization has been going for 30 years. Like me, like myself, I didn't get my undergraduate program. I got undergraduate degree in social work. My major in undergraduate was economics. But
what was it? Sorry?
Economics. My major in my college days was economics.
Oh, economics. Okay, yes.
And minor in sociology. So I didn't have a degree in social work, but I wanted to be a social worker, or I would like to fulfill the mission of social work. That's something I know clearly. So I kind of applied for the graduate study in social work. But still, I didn't get into a program called social work. It was called social welfare, and which is not considered perfect social work later in the professionalization, because the course structure, curriculum is a little bit different. But I'm really good at taking exams, so I passed the license exam anyway. And I continue doing, have a good job in the nonprofits in the field of social work. And I turn into community practice. So I would say I am a social worker with a passion and a career in community practice. Can I call myself a community practitioner? I would not, because most of my experience in community work is in academia. But I would say I am in the community work practice in the field. Yeah. So the division is very fine, to a degree that I would say if you want to exclude others from community practice, then it's not community practice. It's about solidarity and linking together, collaboration, right? Yeah, why I would like to occupy the status and become a privilege to you. Is that anything good for the communities? I would not think so. So I believe there will be some differences, but the point is to look at what's in common, what we share, so that we can work together. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. So we should start from common ground. And also it means that community development is also a multidisciplinary actions, because when you are in a community, communities are very varied in personals and even also in institutional. So thank you very much for the for your answer. I think that's clear. It strengthened my point of view that in social work, as a social workers who use community development, they have more benefit because we also learn about the interpersonal practice. All those three main methods are useful when working with community. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Burisma, for the opportunity.
Really good question. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any further questions or comments? Otherwise, I'll move to another case in the urban setting.
Any other question or comments? Miss Yi, we have a lot of participants here, like it's from student from Magister Social Welfare and Public Policy Department also, and also a doctoral degree program too. If you have guys have another question or opinion, you can write it on the comment section chat, or you can raise hand like Miss Leah before. But I think Miss Yi, you can continue your material first.
Okay, so I talk about a rural case first because I guess it's quite more relevant to you and your living area. But if you live in Bandung or Jakarta, such a big city, you see a lot of disparities, like inequality within the big city. It looks good, everything fancy, everything good. But within the city, you see some communities or some neighborhoods, they are suffering from pollution, suffering from poverty, or some area development issues. So I would like to introduce you another case in Taipei City. It's called Todd Hill, this area. This is a graph of Todd Hill on the right. And on the left-hand side, you can see the hill is located by the riverside. And between the river and the hill, National Taiwan University is in this area. And not far from the most fancy area of Taipei City, the building Taipei 101, the highest building, high-rise building in Taipei. And now it's still within the 10th highest building here, a business center. So within like a 20-minute driving distance, the Todd Hill was in a not so good condition. And the hill was, people in this area thought it looks like a frog, a fat frog. And so within this graph, you can see under the hill, there is a cave. And this is real. The cave was constructed by the Japanese colonial government, because next to the hill is a camp for Air Force. And it is still a camp for Air Force. So they kept this hill, half of the hill, restricted area for military reasons. And under the hill and by the hill, there's a military camp, which people like me couldn't get in freely. However, because of the military camp, many people moved to the hill and built their own house, which is illegal. But they have been here over 40 years. So on the hill, you see a lot of houses, small, big, and very roughly built, hand-built kind of houses. And under the hill, there's rows of houses, which is built by the universities nearby. One is NTU, National Taiwan University, that I affiliate with. And the other is National Taipei Technology University. And so this is their land in law registered with the campus. So these are dormitories for the workers here. So over the decades, it has been a residential area for people working in the military camp, working in the universities nearby. However, like in 2012, there was a shocking news that the two universities decided to get back their own land. They wanted to build something new here as part of their campus. So if you see in the map, those gray houses, the houses in gray color, they are illegal ones. These illegal houses will be torn down. So all of the residents here in the gray houses, they receive the notice from the courts saying if they don't move within a year, they have to pay the rent of the land over the decades. That's a lot of money that many people would not afford. So some of them moved immediately, and some of them were like had no ways to pay the penalty, or no way to go into the court. So some of the people, they find supporters such as artists or like social movements, community practitioners, call for help. And they came together, try to organize a few protests that kind of help the public attention, to draw the public attention and get news report, things like that. So after 5 years of protest, this place becomes, so these people don't have to move anyway. They anymore. This area becomes kind of culturally reserved zone by the city government. So the Taipei city government kind of redesign this area into a cultural reservation site for the military military community, and also for the residential area for the older Taipei, because it's illegal, so it has never been rebuilt into high-rise or modern style of houses. So this area has a new opportunity to start their own life. And however, after the 5 years of protests and lawsuit, many residents has been become ill or very old and moved out of the place. And some of the families stay, but only the older adults, especially with women, they stayed in this community. So what can they make a new life after the bad 5 years? They had no idea. So my course and some of the NTU teachers, we kind of organized a few courses for the students to participate in the community activities and try to figure out what can be good for the community to do together. One of the trial was in my course that many students, some of them are social work background, some of them are urban planning, and some are in other different disciplines. So the students came together and joined a lot of activities with the local residents. They found these old ladies are like their own grandmas, and they enjoy the time interacting with the young people. So they try to introduce some of the young people's games, like you see here. Do you play this? You knock on the bricks and see who wins by who make the penguin on the top falling down. So such kind of table games are very common for this young generation, but nothing familiar for the old ladies. So the old ladies kind of had a lot of fun playing with the young people, and also the young people found the old lady are very familiar with mahjong, a very traditional kind of gambling game. So they learn mahjong from the grandmothers. So such kind of positive activities kind of triggered the community members' interests. So the Dingma here, as the local CDA's leader, she also lives in Tat Hill. She thinks, okay, maybe that's something we can start from nothing. Without government funding, we can still play the mahjong or play the game tables together and have fun. Maybe that's a way to initiate this old lady's interests. So that's a start point. After 2 years of gathering using very little government funding, they invited artists to listening to the residents' living story. And also they invite the residents to draw their own life stories from the photos or from their own memory and make into a graphic book. It looks like a graphic book for the children, but it's very popular for the residents. They feel like they are innovators or artists now publish a book, so very proud. So the community organization, they invite coaches to train the old ladies tell their own story with their own book. So you see, this is a picture taken in the elementary school nearby. Ye Mama, she told her story with the children and feel very much satisfied as a teacher and also as a local representative respected by the local students and school teachers. Furthermore, they like a few months ago, I attended their activities. This activity is a traditional holiday for people gathering together and share food. In addition to the happy gathering, the organization, they invite the young children from the kindergarten nearby to be some of the participants. And they tell their stories like in the radio show. Everyone say a little bit script in their own mother tongue, because many of them were from mainland China or other area of Taiwan. They have their own dialogue. So the same book, but another way, they read loud of the lines in the story with their own mother tongue. And that was a very touching moment, I would say, because I didn't understand all of the words because of the dialogue I wasn't familiar with. But the children were very much focused. And when they left, I asked one of the children, what did you hear? What do you remember? And the little boy told me, in English, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's like he is showing some language he knows too. Some language other than the official Mandarin that we all know. So he sensed these older adults, they should be respected, and I should act with respect in return. And so such kind of interaction are slowly changing the relationship with the local young people, with the older adults, older residents here. And one more case is that the association, they invited the group of old ladies to join a parade. This parade is for wild animals life protection, because Hilltop is a rare place within Taipei City, still has a lot of animals living in and wildlife habitat. So these older adults, they become supporters of the wild animals life and join the parade and protest, which was very moving, because I have friends who is in the like environment protection organization, very professional one. And within this parade, she told me, where is the group of old lady came from? They are so active and they really love the animals and their community. So such kind of passion can be effective and influential to more people and in a broader public, which is a success. I consider as they take the locality development approach to empower the older adults into active citizens. So in the urban case, I would say the models of community practice was moving from social action to a more empowerment approach. And the mix or the switch pretty much depends on the legal process. During the legal process, like the lawsuits or the courts, that was a hassle for the residents. So during that time, it's impossible for them to think of anything empowering or anything fun. It was a luxury, but it's also impossible for them for their health status. to stay on the protest status. They have to rest and find back their own life and their own life value, I would say, so that when the awareness was evoked by the protest, then there is something we can do to do the empowerment in the following stages. And in the case, I see that key actors in the beginning was totally outsiders. Artists, scholars, and some elected representatives are very crucial for them to kept this area from tearing down or from eviction. So because it's about the legal process. However, when it's solved or the city government shows they are friendly and their soft attitude, then it's possible for more actors to come in, such as the young students in the nearby universities, like my students and many others. Such support would help the residents gain their confidence and their life path. And however, now at the present stage, when the oppression of local development, the land redesign, replanning is not a threat anymore, I think the control, the power should come back, and is coming back to the residents. The younger residents now are the active and key organizers, and they do a much better job than the outsiders. Because during the recent 3 years, the local resident, in the beginning, they refused to take on the organization, or they refused to organize any activities. They were waiting for the artists, waiting for the scholars to do something. But I think we, the outsiders, were very cautious about our sustainable role in that community. So it's a little bit tension, but we successfully came to an agreement that with creating some positive experience for them to feel, yes, you can do it. Yes, it costs not much. We will be the supporters and playing with you and finding some external resources for you. But nowadays, it's like I don't have to do much. What I do is that I would have their invitation for annual gathering or fun dinner, things like that. Be a guest, from an actor to a guest. I feel good about it. I hope they feel good too, although it's a hard job, but now it's their community. So I think in this case, the political part is not that convincing or encouraging as the one in the rural case of Yuanli, because city is a complex area, so that this small group of the residents on the top hill, they belong to a bigger area of election zone, and they never won any election, the local small one or bigger, like a city level one. So that was very frustrated, and also some of the members of them, their decision to run the election kind of caused a lot of tension between the community and other residents. So some of the residents refused to join any activities of them because, hey, you are on the other side. I couldn't touch that, because once I broke the boundary, I would lost my benefit through my loyalty to the present leader. So politics is something very sensitive and very complex. in the urban setting. In this case, I see it was a failure to join the election and try to use that to draw broader attention. Actually, it kind of closed up a lot of communication and connection to a broader level of residents. So that's about the urban case. Any questions or comments?
Everyone, any question from you guys? From Miss Leah, you can. Yes, you can.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. But first, sorry, I cannot show my video. I have connection issues, ma'am.
Okay, it's
Yes, I'm Leah, participant from master's degree in public policy, ma'am. Prof. Yiyi, just a little bit questions. In your opinion, Prof, how social policy developed in Taiwan? If we try to compare it with Indonesian case, which Indonesian understanding social policy only specifically to address social problem. Thank you, ma'am.
Leah, would anyone explain further about Leah's question? Because I don't know much about Indonesia social policy. I think Leah is wondering, social policy is about social issues or social problems. Would that be the same as community policy or community practice? Is that the question? Rudy, you think?
Okay. Maybe he want your opinion about social policy when it's work with a single problem in a community, I think.
For example?
For example, like okay, maybe Leah, you can give an example about your question. Okay, Leah.
Leah kalau mau pakai bahasa Indonesia juga dulu nggak apa-apa. Yeah.
It's okay. Let me try.
Okay.
And if I didn't get it, ask a further question again, please. As I say in the beginning, the social policy related to community development is not just about social policy. Maybe for the community practice to grow, there is some specific movement or specific law or social policy focused on community practice. For example, here, the 1994 community empowerment movement in Taiwan. It's not a law, but it's a policy. The policy is very much focused on CDA, such kind of organization at the town level and at the village level to do any initiatives that's good for the benefit of the well-being of the residents. However, after 1994, the policy kind of expand into not just CDA, but also other kind of organization can be involved in such kind of activities, and they can apply for government funding. That's one thing. And the other thing is that it's not just about community development, not just about what we think about public health or education or like social welfare kind of thing. The policy in Taiwan, it expanded into many areas that you didn't think, oh, it's something about community practice, such as disaster prevention. They can apply for money to do the construction by the riverside, by the hillside, to prevent greater scale of landslides or flood, things like that. It can be something done by the community organization. And also things like police departments. The police department, they invite CDA and other community organizations to do the patrol or to do the education for people to feel safe and to prevent thieves or robbery or fire, things like that. That's something we didn't think before the 90s. We didn't think it's something community practice will cover. But I think that's the stage that the democracy in Taiwan evolved to a stage that most of the public affair is legalized or systemized into government regular activities. But there are many other things that the government don't have enough funding and don't have enough workforce. So, they need the votes. So they would like to win the trust of every citizen. So they try to expand the things that they can do by inviting the community organizations with a little bit of funding, but not much, or by giving honors or encouragements to the volunteers, so that people feel honored and happy and supported financially to join the public activity. So when we say social policy, we usually think of social problems that requires collective intervention. I think community practice is approach of intervention, not specific to the actors, but an intervention approach for the policy to employ, so that they can rely much more on the voluntary workforce and the funding. And also, I think the trust and relationship at the local level is very much reliable, much reliable than from people and the elected leaders, which is the linkage is vague and only happens every few years when election happens. So the everyday interaction and the trust accumulated at a community level, it's something that community practice can be useful for the policy and policy implementation or policy planning. Did I answer your question, you think?
Maybe I can help a little bit. I think Ms. Yi have a clear answer about the Lia's question, because it's quite similar from the point of view from a social policy from Taiwan and Indonesia. It's just like Lia is been confusing why the government not take seriously about the community empowerment and make it to become a once of policy like this, like you said before. Like it's quite similar from Indonesian and Taiwan, I think. Thank you, Ms. Lee.
For UT's comments, yeah, I think that's something the government national leaders, they are considering is, should I support the community? Will they become my supporter or become the power against me? So it's a political calculation, actually. So some people say, some scholars, they claim that the big turning point in 1994 for community practice to grow suddenly. The turning point is that the new elected president, he decided that the democracy is becoming too wild. So since he has become the president from the minor party, so if he allows the community to do the protest, they will become the opposite power against his leadership. So he decided to make the policy and allocate a lot of funding for the community organizations to do their own business, taking care of the communities instead of paying too much attention at the national level. So yeah, that's one saying, identifying it's a way why the national leader pay so much attention to communities. Before that, small money, small power, and very little attention.
Pardon me, Ms. Nina? Hello, Ms. Yi?
Hi.
Yeah, pardon me?
So I can continue? Any further questions?
Maybe you can continue first because we have 30 minutes left maybe, and then
Okay. Time is up almost. So I'll just wrap up my presentation that I think bottom-up practice is something very valuable in the community practice. So if possible, I encourage you to initiate something very small at local level that and try if different actors, outsiders or insiders can play at the community level. That the roles of the actors can be very tricky. And I think that's the art of community practice. For you to judge or to identify what can be done at what timing and with some whom what partners together. And please be cautious that the policy and the settings in urban and rural area can be very influential for any community practice implementation. So I'll just conclude my presentation with some overviews of some continuing efforts that social work and other disciplines are trying to promote community practice. We can notice that there are differences, divergences within the field of community practice or field of CD. First, as you have raised questions about the organization types, there are many types of organizations in the field. And I point out that the two mainstreams is one about community empowerment, which we saw in the two case studies that I introduced. And the other approach is about community-based social services. Next time, I'll talk more about this approach. And I think in this approach, the active organization can be quite different, and more social worker involved, and more social work tradition kind of nonprofits involved. So please look forward to the next talk. And the second point is the second difference is we can observe in the field is that the government's role has been changing. So in the beginning or in the starting point, they are leaders, or they are the only and main funders for communities to have their own organization, and also to do some initiatives at the neighborhood level. However, recent years, the government kind of lost their total control authority, and also they have limited budget in the community practice. Therefore, it allows the organizations, the grassroots, to think other ways to expand their capacity. One is to utilize the partnership to do more networking so that they can gather more resources and workforce needed in activities. So next time we will talk about more about the partnership and networking for the community organizations to provide better social services. And the last point, but not least important, is about the workforce development. One of you has mentioned the question about the difference between social work and community workers. Yes, there's some differences, and the fact is many disciplines are involved, and none of the discipline takes community practice as the core or the most important concentration within their formal education. For example, social work education in Taiwan, we only include the license and the law only require one course of community work, 3 credits within the 4 years of training, only one course required. And maybe some of the students feel interested in community practice. They would choose to serve their internship, their placement in a community setting, or an organization apply community methods. However, the choice for their internship is quite limited, because in Taiwan, the internship has to be done in an agency with a qualified supervisor. The supervisor has to have the license at first. That means good pay, good knowledge, and good capacity. Many community setting organizations, they don't really hire a full-time social worker or a licensed social worker. So that's another barrier for social work students to get in the field of community. I think a lot of challenges exist, and I would like you to think about what can be done to kind of overcome or try to create the bridges for more social work and more public administration students to go into the field of community practice. Because as I have experienced, it is very inspiring and encouraging, and falling right into your mission of help as a helping profession. So yeah. I look forward to talk with you next time about the social services in community. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Yi. We have question actually in the chat column. It's from Miss Novelia Handayani. Okay, you can explain yourself or okay. I think I can read the question. She answering about how can public media such as the arts influence of public policy can be a tools of community development in Taiwan. I think she asked about the process and the change of the public media can be a tools from the what is it like a system in the community development in Taiwan.
Yeah, like in the case of Tat Hill, you see the beautiful graphs and pictures of Tat Hill. That's done by artists, and you see the touch is quite affection. It's full of affection because because Tat Hill is next to the popular area of Taipei City and next to universities. But the living condition, like the housing quality, is not that good. So the rental is relatively low. So that's the reason why many artists gathered and live in that area. And they love Tat Hill actually. So I think instead of protests, like showing anger, another way to make people feel relevant is to show your love and show it's a lovely place. So the arts is a way, it's a tool for the community to express why we think it's a good place, why it deserves the cultural the reservation zoning, such kind of policy. Otherwise, if you look at from the business side, it's just the old, shady, and not so good area that we probably should just tear down everything and evict everyone since they are legal. But what's the value of the community, or what's the culture kept there? And what does it mean for the Taipei City government? That's something the art can be a translator instead of just shouting or protesting in this case. So during the 5 years of lawsuit and like protesting, regular like workshops making arts, or like experience the culture there, listening to the lived story there. Such workshop was hosted regularly for more citizens and residents nearby can join. So that's the hope to gather more attention and supports. And such activities, not many people would attend physically, but through the public media and also like Facebook or Instagram, more people, broader public would be approached to these stories and information. That's also a way to gather support.
Is it enough for Miss Novelia? Or you can want to have another opinion? Miss Novelia? Okay. Okay, she said, okay, thanks. Thank you, Miss Yi.
Thank you. So we are done today.
Okay, I think it's enough. There's no another question or opinion again.
And
Okay.
if you have any comments or feedback, please feel free to approach me through my email. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Miss Yi.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Yi.
you.
Thank you.
See you next time. Goodbye.
Bye. Terima kasih ya.
Ya, sama-sama Pak.
Oke.
Izin live Pak.
Yo, enggak.